Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no
Global 15th.
United for global
change
from Israel!
人間の30倍近い高い放射能濃度の中で子供たちは放置されています。一刻も早くこのような状況を調査しない限り、私たちはこの工事によって死のことに答えてください。日本に開催される運動のように抗議をご用意されていました。
Because we dare to imagine a better life. We dare to believe that a more just future is possible. Just by being here, we dare to reject cynicism and apathy and formless dread. We dare to imagine a life driven not by grasping greed and pure self-interest, but one forged in the bonds of love, optimism, and mutual respect. We are the 99%. Welcome to a new era.
Okay, I'm here at Occupy Sydney, and we have made an occupation. The general consensus from the first General Assembly was to stay exactly where we were and occupy Martin Place, which is right at the front of the Reserve Bank, not far from the Stock Exchange, not far from all the banks. Yeah, there's, you know, the mining companies that people are alleging completely crushed the idea of the mining tax that was, you know, I thought was going to help our country immensely. So there's a great many reasons why we've decided to be in Martin Place, and the crowd has spoken. So here we are at the day one of Occupy Sydney.
In Australia, hundreds of people took to the streets in Sydney and Melbourne to protest against corporate greed and inequality. The Sydney demonstration brought together around 300 people who gathered outside the Reserve Bank.
We are the 99%, and we are here to stay, and we are here to reclaim what is ours.
And in Manila, dozens of demonstrators marched on the U.S. Embassy waving banners reading, "Down with U.S. imperialism and Philippines not for sale." They also referred to capitalism as being in crisis.
Few in number, but strong in voice. These Filipino protesters are out in support of the Occupy Wall Street movement. They argue they too suffer inequality, with economic policies that only benefit the top 1% of the population.
also played host to an Occupy Wall Street demonstration. A couple of hundred people gathered at the city's tallest building, Taipai 101, at 1:01 this afternoon. Protesters marched peacefully around the building, which is a symbol of the city's financial and business district, to express dissatisfaction at the widening wealth gap.
Demonstrators have taken to the streets in different parts of the world, protesting against corporate greed and inequality. Here in Hong Kong, protesters took over part of Central this afternoon. Some called for an end to capitalism, while others wanted jobs and democracy. Danielle Tran reports.
The Occupy Central movement started with a group of Lehman Brothers mini-bond victims who marched to a bank on Pedder Street, demanding compensation for their lost investment. They were soon joined by hundreds of people from different groups, each with their own demands. Signs and banners which read "Banks are cancer" and "Down with capitalism" were paraded past major banks down Queens Road Central and onto Exchange Square. Some wore masks of the character V, a fictional freedom fighter against a totalitarian society. They clambered onto the bull statue to symbolise their successful occupation of Central. Sometimes their action got a bit testing for security staff. The area they were occupying was private property. So at around 6 o'clock this evening, they made their way towards the HSBC building in search, they say, of a location where they can stake out for longer. What began as a protest movement in New York has now spread across the Asia-Pacific region. Now, apart from this protest here in Hong Kong, there are other demonstrations held today in Japan, Taiwan and Australia. Danielle Tran, TVB News.
And the Occupy Central protesters are still there right now, and Danielle Tran is at the HSBC main building. Danielle, what's going on there?
Hi, Jenny. Well, things are rather calm at the moment, which is a complete contrast to what we did see earlier. Jenny, as you did mention just a while ago, we've seen events like this unfold in New York over the past month, and it's obviously had a rather ripple effect across the region. It's certainly evident with today's protest as well. But unlike the Occupy Wall Street protest, the one major difference that we've seen is that there hasn't been a single arrest throughout the day. Now, protests have remained largely peaceful. Earlier in the day, we did see demonstrators stationed at Exchange Square. Now, as you mentioned, they're camped here at the HSBC building. When protesters first arrived, though, it was a very different scene from what you're seeing here. It was very chaotic. People were barging through cornered-off areas, and there was also a rather brief altercation between protesters as well as police. But as you can see, things are really starting to settle down. Numbers compared to what we saw much earlier have appeared to have dissipated somewhat. We've had, though, a string of speakers throughout the evening espousing very much the same message. They're demanding an end to corporate greed. They're also wanting to see change here in Hong Kong, closing that perceived wealth gap between rich and poor. As you can also see in the screen here, the tents have been set up, so participants say they'll actually camp overnight, so we'll have to wait and see how that progresses throughout the evening. Jenny, back to you.